Hello, guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Vijeta, and today we shall be continuing with the lecture series. Last time we actually started, we were going to start with As You Like It. We did Julius Caesar, a very important play, and we did the quotes and stuff. And now we shall come to As You Like It, a very well known play and something that I did in my high school as well. It was written in 1599, and it's a romantic comedy. The main characters are Sir Roland D. Boys, Oliver D. Boys, who is the eldest son of Sir Roland, Jacques D. Boys, the second son, Orlando D. Boys, the youngest son, Adam, a faithful servant who follows Orlando into exile. And just note this, that Jacques D. Boys doesn't make a big appearance in the play, but there's another character named Jacques, who is more of a melancholic kind of a person. He has a good role to play. Somehow, I think Shakespeare just named the two people similar. It might be confusing, but owing to the little presence of the second son, it's not that confusing. Adam is a faithful servant who follows Orlando into exile. Dennis, Oliver's servant who brings in Charles, the wrestler. Duke Senior, exiled Count of Duke Senior in the forest of Arden. Jacques, a discontented melancholic lord, also called a nobleman of Duke Senior. Phoebe, a proud shepherdess. Sylvius, a shepherd. Audrey, a country girl. Celia, daughter of Duke Frederick. Rosalind, daughter of Duke Senior. Duke Frederick, brother of Duke Senior who usurps him. Touchstone, a court fool or jester. Ganymede, she's Rosalind. Elena, she's Celia. The source is Rosalind, Euphues' Golden Legacy, a novel written by Thomas Lodge, published in 1590. It is a pastoral comedy by Shakespeare, that is the play. And this is an important question where As You Like It is adapted from. And it features the most famous quoted speech, all the words a stage, and also the origin of the phrase, too much a good thing. The play is set in Duchy, France, but most of the action takes place in the forest of Arden. Frederick, after usurping Duchy, exiles his older brother, Duke Senior. He lives in the forest of Arden, disguised as Robin Hood. But the Duke's daughter, Rosalind, is permitted to live with Celia, who is Frederick's daughter, in her house. Now, Celia and Rosalind decide to flee together along with Touchstone, a court clown, which is because of love and all, because Rosalind sees Orlando in that wrestling match, and it's a whole slew of things, but I'm just giving you the minor details because in the NET exam that depth of a play won't be asked. So Rosalind is now disguised as a young man named Ganymede, and Celia is disguised as Elena, the poor lady. Orlando, who already fell in love with Rosalind, meets Duke in the forest of Arden. Celia and Rosalind were also there. Rosalind was also in love with Orlando, but in the woods she meets him as Ganymede. Ganymede says that he will take Rosalind's place and he and Orlando can act out their relationship. A very heavy homo-romantic hint here. The shepherdess Phoebe, with whom Sylvius was in love, falls in love with Ganymede, but Ganymede was not at all interested. William, a shepherd, falls in love with Audrey, a dull-witted shepherdess, but Touchstone threatens to kill him 150 ways because he himself was in love with Audrey. Finally, Sylvius and Phoebe and Ganymede and Orlando are brought together in an argument about who will get whom. Orlando saves his brother Oliver from a lioness, and thus Oliver repents on mistreating Orlando, and they patch up. Oliver falls in love with Elena, who is Celia actually, and they agree to marry. In the final scene, Orlando and Rosalind, Oliver and Celia, Sylvius and Phoebe, and Touchstone and Audrey are married. Important quotes. The whole poem, all the words are stage, all the worlds are stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. His acts being 7 ages, at first the infant mewling and puking in the nurse's arms, then the whining schoolboy with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like snail, unwillingly to school, and then the lover, sighing like furnace with a woeful palate. Made to his mistress's eyebrow, then a soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like the part, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, and seeking the double reputation even in the cannon's mouth, and then the justice in fair round belly, with good capon lined, with eyes severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise sauce and modern instances, and so he plays his part. The sixth age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his youthful hose well saved, a world too wide, for his shrunk shank and his big manly voice. Turning again towards childish treble, pipes and whistles in his sound, last scene of all that ends this strange eventful history is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything. As you like it. Act 2, Scene 7, uttered by Jax to Duke Senior in a monologue. Then, a fool, I met a fool in the forest. Men have died from time to time, and worms have eaten them, but not for love. Rosalind says that, and it's asked also. Love is merely a madness. If I were a woman, I would kiss as many of you as had beards that pleased me. Again, Rosalind. And Rosalind is among Shakespeare's greatest and most fully realized female characters. That is the opinion of Harold Bloom. It can be asked. Now we come to Twelfth Night, or What You Will, written in 1601, 1602. It is a comedy by Shakespeare written around 1601-1602. The plot elements are drawn from the short story of Apollonius and Scylla by Barnaby Rich. It was published in the first folio of 1623. The play is set in Illyria and a pub named The Elephant. Plot: Viola and Sebastian were twin brother and sister. Their ship is wrecked on the coast of Illyria and she comes ashore with the help of a captain, but she loses her contact with her brother Sebastian, whom she believes to be dead. She disguises herself as a young man named Cesario, and she enters the service of Duke Orsino through the help of the captain who saved her in the shipwreck. Duke Orsino of Illyria was in love with Olivia. Instead, Olivia was mourning for her dead brother and refuses to entertain any kind of marriage proposals. As Viola wishes to work in Olivia's home and she refuses to talk to any strangers, she disguises as Cesario and goes to work in the household of Duke Orsino. Now, Viola as Cesario quickly becomes the favorite of Orsino and becomes his page. Viola finds herself falling in love with Orsino, but difficult to pursue as Orsino believes her to be a man. Again, very homosexual kind of hints you can see here. Here becomes a love triangle and everyone is miserable because Orsino, Viola as Cesario, and Olivia. These three are in love with each other. You see, Olivia loves Viola because she thinks she is Cesario, she's a man, and Viola is in love with Orsino, but she has this problem wherein she knows that she can't pursue him because he thinks that she is a man. Now, there are other members in Olivia's household, such as Sir Toby Belch, her rowdy and drunkard uncle, Sir Andrew Aguchick, who is trying helplessly or hopelessly to quote Olivia, Maria, Olivia's pretty waiting gentlewoman, Fest, clever clown of the house, Malvolio, prudish steward of Olivia's household. Maria sets a practical joke to make Malvolio think that Olivia is in love with him because Malvolio always used to make fun of Sir Toby Belch and all the others. Maria forges a letter, supposedly from Olivia, addressed to her beloved, as appears on the letter MOAI, telling him that if he wants to earn her favor, he should dress in yellow stockings and crossed garters, act haughtily, smile constantly, and refuse himself to anyone. Malvolio happily follows the command, filled with dreams of marrying Olivia. Meanwhile, Sebastian, brother of Viola, who is still alive and believes his sister Viola to be dead, arrives in Illyria along with his friend and protector Antonio. Antonio and Orsino were old enemies. Sir Andrew Aguecheek, a suitor of Olivia, observing Olivia's attraction to Cesario, challenges Cesario for a duel. Not knowing that Cesario is actually Viola, Sir Toby Belch found this duel entertaining, so he eggs on Sir Andrew. Meanwhile, Sebastian, who looks like disguised Viola, appears on the scene. Sir Andrew and Toby Belch end up coming to blows with Sebastian, thinking he is Cesario. Olivia enters and encounters Sebastian, thinking that he is Cesario because Sebastian is like the twin brother of Viola. So when Viola dresses up like a boy or a man, she looks like Sebastian, which is quite natural. And Olivia thinks that it is Cesario and she asks him to marry her. Now, Sebastian is baffled, he's puzzled because he doesn't know these people and he has never seen her before. But he finds Olivia wealthy and beautiful, so he decides to go with her, to go on with the flow. Meanwhile, Antonio is arrested by Orsino's officers and begs Cesario for help, thanking him as Sebastian. Now, Viola denies about knowing anything knowing about Antonio. She denies about knowing Antonio. Antonio is dragged off and cries that Sebastian has betrayed him. Thus, Viola finds a new hope that her brother is still alive. On the other hand, Malvolio is locked in a small and dark room for his treatment of his madness, as he dressed awkwardly and they torment him. Fest, a priest, dresses up as Sir Topaz and pretends to examine Malvolio. He declares him definitely insane in spite of his protests. Sir Toby Belch thinks of a better joke and allows Malvolio to send a letter to Olivia in which he asks to be released. Eventually, Viola, still disguised as Cesario, and Orsino make their way to Olivia's house. Olivia welcomes Cesario as her new husband, thinking him to be Sebastian, whom she had just married. Orsino becomes furious. Sebastian also appears on the scene, and all is revealed. The siblings are reunited, and Orsino realizes he loves Viola as he comes to know that she's a woman. Orsino asks Viola to marry him. Sir Toby Belch and Maria also get married privately. Finally, all remember about poor Malvolio locked in the dark room, and they all let him out of the room. Malvolio learns about all the tricks and storms off, leaving happy couples to their celebrations. Somehow, Malvolio was just used as a comic relief. Important quotes from Twelfth Night. Be not afraid of greatness. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and others have greatness thrust upon them. If music be the food of love, play on, give me excess of it. That's a fighting, the appetite may sicken, and so die. Journeys end in lovers meeting, every wise man's doth know. Dost thou think, because thou art virtuous, there shall be no more cakes and ale? Note, the title of Somerset Mugums. What have I done? The spelling is wrong. M-A-U. There should be a A there. Moms. Somerset Maugham's novel Cakes and Ale, 1930. It was written in 1930. Has been taken from this line. Very important. By innocence I swear, and my youth, I have one heart, one bosom, and one truth, and that no woman has, nor never, none shall mistress be of it, save I alone. And so adieu, good madam, nevermore will I my master's tears to you deplore. Very elegant. MOAI, these alphabets appear on the forged letter of Olivia made by Maria for Malvolio. Malvolio thinks it to be his own name. Poor Malvolio. Now we come to Hamlet, and it was written in 1601, the tragedy of Hamlet, Prince of Denmark, written in between 1600 to 1601. It is the longest play of Shakespeare. It has been described as the world's most filmed story after Cinderella. It is set in the kingdom of Denmark. Claudius murders his own brother king, Hamlet, father of Hamlet, to take over the throne and marries his brother's wife, Gertrude. Very well known play of Shakespeare and very talked about also. There is an expectation that the Norwegian prince Fortinbras will attack Denmark. The play opens on a cold winter midnight on a platform before the castle of Elsinore, the Danish royal castle. The sentries Bernardo, Marcellus, and Hamlet's friend Horatio encounter a ghost who looks like King Hamlet. They try to attack it with daggers, but it escapes, and they tell all these scenes to Hamlet. They tell about all of these scenes to him. Claudius and Gertrude try to persuade Hamlet about his mourning. I mean, they think that he's mourning and they try to, console him, tell him to get out of it and all that. Hamlet reproaches his mother for being unfaithful by marrying her brother in law, as, oh, that this too solid flesh would melt. Yeah, he kind of reproaches his mother. There's an angle of the Oedipus complex also here, as interpreted by Sigmund Freud. Claudius sends two student friends named Rosencrantz and Guildenstern to discover Hamlet's mood and behavior, but Hamlet quickly knows about their spying. That night, the ghost of Hamlet, that is Father Hamlet, appears to Hamlet and tells him that Claudius has murdered him by pouring poison in his ears. The poison used here is the juice of cursed Hebenon. Very important. Polonius is Claudius's trusted chief counselor, and his son Laertes is about to resume his studies in France. Ophelia is Polonius's daughter, who is courting Hamlet, but she is warned against it by her brother and father. Although Hamlet was unconvinced about the ghost's truth, he asks a troupe of actors at Elsinore to stage a play reenacting his father's murder and watching Claudius's reaction. After seeing the king, who is murdered with poison in his ears, Claudius abruptly rises. Something is triggered and leaves the room, and Hamlet finds it as a positive sign. On the way to his mother's chamber, he is confronted by Claudius, who was praying at that time. Now, Hamlet doesn't kill him, thinking that if I kill him during prayers, his soul will go to heaven. So, yeah, Hamlet is very indecisive in this whole play. That is like the main character arc of Hamlet, it seems. Hamlet accuses Ophelia of being immodest while she returns all his love letters. So he dismisses her and asks her to join a nunnery, which is also pertaining to a prostitution job. Yeah. Nunnery can mean two things: a religious place, or a lot of scholars have interpreted as joining a prostitution, job or something like that. In Gertrude's chamber, a furious row erupts between Gertrude and Hamlet while Polonius was spying behind the tapestry. Polonius makes some noise. Hamlet stabs him, thinking him to be Claudius. Now, the same time, the ghost appears and reprimands Hamlet for his inaction and harsh words. Gertrude could not see the ghost and thinks that Hamlet has gone mad. Claudius sends Rosencrantz and Guildenstern to accompany Hamlet to England with a letter to the English king that reads, "As soon as Hamlet reaches England, he must be executed." The same time, the ghost appears and reprimands Yeah, we did this slide. I'm so sorry for repeating it. Now, Ophelia falls in deep grief over her father's death, and her brother Laertes returns from France, knowing about his father's death and his sister's madness. Claudius convinces Laertes that Hamlet is solely responsible for his father's death. Hamlet returns from England alone, escaping the English king, because he reads the letter and changes it. Claudius proposes a fencing match between Laertes and Hamlet to kill their differences. So Hamlet changed the letter, and owing to which Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are the one who are executed. And there's a play also called Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. Laertes was given poison-tipped sword, and Claudius plans to offer Hamlet a poisoned wine if Laertes fails to kill him. Gertrude reports that Ophelia has drowned herself. Hamlet and Laertes fight over Ophelia's grave on the matter of Hamlet confessing his love for Ophelia. Like they're fighting on the grave, and then Hamlet is like, "Oh, I loved Ophelia and all that," although she's now dead. So there's that. Hamlet reveals the secret to his friend Horatio that he had changed Claudius's letter with a forged one, indicating Rosencrantz and Guildenstern to be put to death. So it is they who die, not him. Gertrude drinks the poisoned wine made for Hamlet and dies. In the fight between Laertes and Hamlet, Hamlet kills. Hamlet leads 2-0. Hamlet is stabbed by Laertes, and in a foil, their swords are exchanged, and Laertes is also stabbed to death by the poisoned sword. From the same poisoned sword, he stabs Claudius also. Horatio remains alive to tell the whole tale. Hamlet names Fortinbras as his successor. And the play ends. Important quotes: one may smile and be a villain. Claudius mistakes Rosencrantz for Guildenstern. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern overhear Hamlet speaking in riddles to Polonius. To be or not to be, that is the question. It is a soliloquy by Hamlet when he attempts or contemplates death and suicide. And the speech functions within the play to explain Hamlet's hesitation to directly and immediately avenge his father's murder in Act 1 on his uncle's stepfather and new king, Claudius. Not kind, it's king. Thus conscience does make cowards of us all. That's the quote. Now we come to The Merry Wives of Windsor, written in 1597. It is a comedy by Shakespeare, written around 1597. It features the character Sir John Falstaff, the Fat King, who is previously featured in Henry IV. Some elements of The Merry Wives of Windsor may have been adapted from Il Pecoron, a collection of stories by Sir Giovanni Fiorentino. Just check it once. And it is written in 5 acts. The play starts with the discussion of Justice Shallow, Master Slender, and Sir Hugh Evans about the anger of Sir John Falstaff. Evans wanted Slender to marry Anne Page. Falstaff settles in at the Garter Inn, where Falstaff reveals his plan to seduce Mistress Page and Mistress Ford. Both women had control over their husband's money, which Falstaff desired. The women refused the letters sent through Pistol and Nym by Falstaff. Mistress quickly talks to Slender's servant, Simple, sent by Evans, and agrees to talk to Anne Page about Slender's match. Dr. Caius, master of Anne, was also in love with her, so he blames Evans for encouraging Slender to marry Anne. He threatens Mrs. Quickly also for giving consent to talk to Anne Page. Anne Page's mother, Mistress Page, wanted her daughter to be married to Dr. Caius, while her father, Mr. Page, wanted her to be married to Master Slender, but Anne was in love with Master Fanton. Fanton enters, who was also in love with Anne Page. Mistress Page and Mistress Ford enter with Falstaff's letter and find that both the letters are the same. Both pledge to humiliate Falstaff. Mr. Page doesn't think that his wife will fall for Falstaff, but Mr. Ford does not believe his wife. Ford disguises himself as Mr. Brooke to find Falstaff's success. Ford asks about Falstaff to seduce, like, Ford asks Falstaff to seduce his wife. He's kind of testing him. Mistress Ford and Page make a fool of Falstaff by hiding him in a laundry basket and throwing him in the river with the basket. When Falstaff tries to seduce the woman for the second time, he was chased away by Mr. Ford. Sorry, this. So, yeah, I think I will stop here. And thank you so much for listening to my lecture. If you liked it, please like my channel. Like my video. Subscribe to my channel. And I will meet you all with more of these colorful videos. I made them on Canva. And yeah, thank you for your patience.